Yo.
Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is.
Happy
Monday, indeed. 15th of September, man. It's mid-September already.
I can't believe it.
It's crazy, man.
Christmas before you know it.
Yeah, big week. Big week. Witching this week. We got the Fed chair this week.
Hello. Yep.
Third quarter's almost over.
Game
New
time.
billionaires being created. You know.
Listen, we got to talk about it. Vlad and the AI, what they're doing on that venture side, and now you can code your own indicators on Robinhood. One of a kind. Talk about incredibly resilient. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but probably the most important fintech company for traders in the world right now. We got to give him a lot of credit. Kudos to Vlad. Not just because he's a friend of the show, but
Vlad Kenneth.
Yeah. You make that clear every time.
I was trying to figure out, is there another Vlad?
Vladimir Putin.
For sure. That's big V.
We don't call him Vlad. We just call him Vladimir.
First trillionaire.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Oh, yeah. I'm speaking on Russia business. Never mind.
I got nothing to do with that.
A lot to talk about, man. First and foremost, big week for EYL. We have we back for Blackout on Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thursday, got the Square episode. Want to talk about that?
Yeah, man. Shout out to all of our partners at Square. We had a dope opportunity to sit down with some entrepreneurs. It was interesting. Usually we sit down on Earn Your Leisure with one entrepreneur, maybe with their partner. This time we had the opportunity to sit down with 3 different businesses and talk about the role that credit and the lack of credit there and financing and all the intricacies that comes with being an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. All women. Shout out to Kika Wise, who was an alumni. She came back. It was a really dope episode. And I was like, this is something we got to do more, right? Just having entrepreneurs in the room and hearing their stories and how they can help each other. So shout out to our people at Square. Shout out to Jenny who helped us put that together, Ab, the whole team. It's a dope one. Y'all definitely got to check it out.
So yeah, Thursday at 6 o'clock. And man, shout out to everybody New York City over the weekend that I ran into. Shout out to Joey Badass.
Shout out to Joey.
Him and his wife, and they was talking about how they watch Market Mondays all the time. So
it's love.
Shout out to Joey and his family. Bay Swag, ran into him.
Okay.
Shout out to Bay.
Shout out to my boy Bay Swag, Terrence J, Boo.
The guys.
Yeah.
The guys. Happy birthday, Slow. Happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday to Slow.
Happy birthday.
Swiss had a birthday. Spoke to him the other day. Had an interesting conversation. Nas' birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to Nas, the great one.
Related to the GOAT.
2 Chainz. Happy birthday to 2 Chainz.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
It's my boy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Bunch of Virgos, yo.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Bud Crawford, EYL alumni.
Yeah.
For sure. Put on a masterclass.
Yeah. He put on a masterclass.
Another one.
Man, but kudos to Canelo. You know, didn't make excuses. True champion.
A real champ, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that was dope, man. So shout out to Bud, undisputed pound for pound world champion.
Yeah. I think the humility that Canelo show is why people really love him.
For sure.
It's one thing, obviously, he's a technician and he's one of the greatest that's ever done it. But his humility, even in winning and defeat, is just about the same, man. So shout out to him.
Yeah.
And Bud talk it, man. Bud talk it and walk it.
Yo. One of a kind.
Bud talk it and walk it, man. That dude is.
But even Bud's humility to get her belts back to Canelo and show grace, and even in the fight build up, you know, they're gonna promote the fight, but it was no disrespect. Like I love how Bud carries himself, and I'm glad that he finally got his moment to show the world how great he is.
His level of conviction it's always the same. Like they asked him, when did you know during the fight that you had him beat? And he was like, as soon as we signed the contract. As soon as he signed that contract, I knew I had him. But it's different, man.
And kudos to Canelo for not ducking him. Like,
yeah. I mean, you make $100 million, you gonna duck it?
No, of course not. Kudos to Canelo for being a great business person. They put that, forget CompuBox, the net worth, when that stack 800 million, I said, what?
Different.
Again, congratulations, Bud, man. The pride of Omaha, Nebraska. Best in the world, man. Congratulations again.
Fact.
Blackout. Check out Blackout. We're gonna be talking about a lot. We're gonna be talking about Charlie Kirk.
Are we?
Didn't get the memo.
So the group text thing, like
delayed.
Above my
three
pay
dots.
grade.
It's still in 3 dot phase.
Got you.
If Ian wants to talk about Charlie Kirk, we'll talk about Charlie Kirk. We also will be playing our conversation with Kev on stage.
Shout out to Kev.
Shout out to Kev.
At InvestFest. That was the set. We're gonna put that into Blackout. That was Blackout Live that we did at InvestFest VIP night. And man, there's so many different topics that's out here right now. It's crazy times that we're in. So make sure you tap in. All right. Ian, anything you want to say? Oh, also, do remember I'm doing a NIL panel this Sunday at Westchester Community College in Westchester, New York, right outside New York City. 2:00. It's free. Serious student athletes from middle school all the way to college is welcome. Coaches, parents, teams, bringing an NFL agent, the head of Boston College's NIL program, entertainment lawyer, and financial advisor. Lunch will be provided. So link in bio on Instagram. If you're interested in RSVPing, you must RSVP if you plan on attending. So if you got a student athlete that you need information, you want to ask questions, it's going to be question and answer. So that's this Sunday at 2:00.
All athletics. Keyword.
Yeah, all athletics, male and female.
Please.
You know what? Speaking of that, tying into that, I got a question this week before we do announcements. If their child is coming to 6 figures and they're incredibly nervous, they don't have a financial background, how do we all suggest that they invest it? I talked to a parent this weekend and I can hear the terror in their voice of how to manage the money, but the excitement at the same time for their child to have gotten the money. Kudos to you. How would you suggest they invest the money so that it sustains for a long period of time?
I mean, just the same way that, we've already talked about as far as index fund. Yep. That's the easiest pathway to put money into the stock market, S&P 500. You can QQQ, invest with Invesco, to invest in the top technology companies in the world that there's a very good chance that they're going to continue to be leading the economy for the next 20, 30 years. When you're talking about Meta, when you're talking about Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, you really can't go wrong with that, right? So that's a starting point.
Yeah.
I think if that's the question, we're in a good place.
For sure.
Right? Like if the question is how should we invest it, we're in a great place.
Great place. Yeah.
Oh man, because
10 years ago, maybe what should I go buy?
Would have happened 15 years ago. What should we spend it on? Or not even asking the question, I spent it, what should I do now? Right? Like, so if the question is we're coming into 6 figures, and some of these kids are gonna be making 7 figures when they get to college. If the idea of investing is in the mindset already, we're in a good place.
But also dollar cost average, people think dollar cost averaging is only for putting money into a monthly, but if you can have a lump sum, it's still dollar cost average. So if you have $100,000, you can put $10,000 a month into the stock market over the next 10 months. That way you're not, just putting all your money in at the top and then the market, falls and now you're automatically down $20,000 and then you got to wait to recover that, over the course of time.
Yeah.
Have the plan, right? Like we always talk about, have a plan. If the 100,000 is what you're getting, are you putting the entire 100,000? Right? There's allocations, percentages that we talk about definitely in the book. You deserve to be rich. I think I would start there as well. Educate yourself on that. Yep. But again, like you said, all those things that Shadi just said, and the fact that you're having a conversation, but then again, surrounding your people who have that same mindset, right? Because one thing will happen if you get around people. And I know a lot of their teammates are making money, and you're watching people. It starts to get advantageous. Like I got to keep up with what they're doing, right? But that mindset of, hey, I need to invest some of this because who knows? A lot of kids make it to college, but very few make it pro.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure that when we have this lump sum that comes in, take advantage of it by making sure it becomes sustainable.
Yeah. My suggestion was VGT, Microsoft, and Nvidia. The first question was no Apple. I'm like, VGT, Microsoft, Nvidia. For everyone who keeps asking, how can I invest in OpenAI? Unless you can go get private shares. Microsoft is secondary way to invest in OpenAI. I don't know how long that relationship may last, but for the time being, Microsoft is a proxy to OpenAI. Yep,
Cool.
half into the index or ETF, and then split the remaining 25% amongst Microsoft and Nvidia.
Not bad.
Rashad, you got on an orange shirt because of the iPhone 17 Pro?
17. This is Ice Cube at the iPhone 8. He's still rocking with that. I was like, damn.
That's right.
Yo, y'all know how this works, man. This is our disclaimer before we go any further. Do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment decision based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information that you hear on this show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. People continue to do the research, share the research. Let's build community. Let's build our portfolios. Let's build our brokerage accounts.
Yes.
Let's build them. Let's build. Let's build. Let's build. Let's do it together. Let's do it together, man.
Yes.
It feels way better when people are winning with you. Trust me.
Big facts.
Love is love. Let's keep doing this.
All right, let's talk about it. So let's get into Elon Musk. He announced that he brought back substantial amount of shares in Tesla, and that sent Tesla stock skyrocketing. It's up $25 today. So talk about the strategy and even talk about like corporate buybacks, because we haven't spoke about that in a while. So that's something that could be potential education for the audience if they're not familiar with corporate buybacks and what that means for a company.
Corporate buybacks are just the company investing into the shares and taking more shares off the market. I thought the timing was really fascinating because Larry Ellison became the richest person in the world for a day or two. Kudos to the generational wealth that he's created for him and his sons. But this was a little bit of an egotistical move, but good investment for Tesla. Elon, of course, is taking that lead back, of course, and then also it's a sign of confidence for what's to come. I know he was at a summit this past weekend. Elon looks focused, and I've always said a focused Elon, when he's not in an alternative state, is a great leader, great entrepreneur. Will the stock come back down as a result? Eventually, yes. Expiration is on Friday. Be mindful of that. It did send the stock flying, but anytime we have a bounce this much of like 5% or 6% in a day, you are going to revert back to the mean. So I think Tesla fall back to maybe 388.52 at some point. That would be a good potential buying price. And another one is at 406.65. But in terms of buybacks, it is a vote of confidence. And I will say, ever since he's left the White House and him and Trump had their kerfuffle, he's had a different level of focus that we hadn't seen maybe in the prior year or two. And him, Vlad Tenev, Satya, that elite tech entrepreneurship class, it seems like they're more focused than ever. Going back to the conversation that you guys had with Magic, these next 3 years are incredibly important. And it seems like he realizes that as well. So he's focused on Starlink, Neuralink, Tesla. So you have to remain bullish on Tesla for the next 3 or 4 years until
when you say he's focused, what do you mean?
I was critical of the alternative supplement use 2 years ago. And we talked about this before, like when you're doing a SWOT analysis on the threats, you don't want to have the White House and president upset with you. Ever since they broke up, you haven't heard him do anything but really work. And that's an amazing thing. Like, it goes back to the Bud Terrence Crawford thing. You don't hear anything about Terrence other than him working out.
Well, I mean, because Elon's been on Twitter. He's still on Twitter every day.
Yeah, for sure.
He's talking about the Charlie Kirk thing nonstop. He wants to put billboards in every city. He's talking about the Ukrainian girl. How come that thing? Like he's still playing the extreme
But that's on his platform. But from what I hear from someone who works at Tesla, he's at headquarters more than he used to be even prior to being in Washington. So he's still doing his Soldier Boy thing on Twitter for sure. But he's in the office more, kind of rallying the troops since that chip of being in the White House has went away. The whole Doge thing has went away. So
yeah, I think it definitely is an ego play. When you talk about buying back 2.6 nearly million shares, the largest single private acquisition in history. I think it was about $1 billion. So what does that do? I think it speaks to conviction in your company, right? You should believe in your company. When people see you believe in your company that much, that usually shows confidence. So when you see CEOs or you see companies buying back, that's what it is. There's a certain amount of shares that are outstanding. If they take those shares off the market, that raises the value for their existing shares. So that's what's happened here with Tesla. I think the focus, when we think Tesla, I think that has changed, and he's kind of getting away from the idea of it just being an EV company, which is why the sentiment has just been robo-taxi and Optimus, and that is going to lead it to the future. Even last week when we saw that vote of confidence, they created an actual plan to make him a trillionaire, right? He has to meet certain incentives. The incentives, some of them were like, yeah, you have to sell this amount of cars. But the other part was like, hey, Optimus has to do this.
Other ventures,
these other ventures have to do this. And so there's a pathway. So that the board at Tesla obviously firmly believes in him. It doesn't matter what he says or what he puts on Twitter. They
by force or by choice, not to cut you off.
I don't even know if it matters. Right? I'm not sure, because every time they vote in his favor, correct?
Yeah.
So I mean, at this point, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, this is one of those things. All right, I'm watching the space, even from a standpoint of Larry Ellison, like that's a partner of his. They do business together.
They do.
So I agree with you. I think the time of it is very interesting, and it's one of those things. We saw Oracle pull back. Now he's number one. Here comes a buyback. Let me get some of these stakeholders that are inside the company and shareholders. Let's make them happy. The stock has kind of been consolidating and trending on the downward. Here's a vote of confidence. I believe in it. This is how much I believe in it.
Yeah. And also for my technicians, anytime they get from that 412 to 439.59 range, there's usually a pullback of some sort. So be mindful of that. For those of you who are looking to get in today, I wouldn't get in today at that price. Wait for a pullback and then you'll be A-okay.
Yeah, it's sitting right at its December 24 high.
Mm-hmm.
We're at 421. We saw obviously a pullback, and now we're right back at that line. So we'll see if it can break that resistance level. Those are always key to watch, right? Can it break through that 445 line? And if it does, where does it go? So we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. I like that you said expiration is happening this Friday, because it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. But on Thursday, the Fed chair will speak, so we'll see.
Oh my God! What do we think is going to happen on Thursday?
I think it's 100% guarantee at this point that he's gonna lower rates. It's just about how much he's gonna lower them at this point.
How much?
Is it a quarter or is it a 0.5% or basis point?
Yeah.
The jobs reports that keep coming back and being revised, they all point to that same idea of, hey, the job market is slowing down. Inflation's gonna go up. What are we gonna do? I think it's almost his hand hasn't been forced, but it has been forced, right? I think it's a foregone conclusion that this will happen. What I've seen now, which is interesting, is that originally they said that there would be 2 cuts that'll happen. Mm-hmm. Now that third one is starting to pop up. People are starting to say, hey, there may be room if we continue on the path with the job numbers looking like this. CPI came back kind of like at what they had estimated. If they stay like this, then maybe there's a third cut that happens in December. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Do you think that they invested more into the numbers being released to force his hand a little bit more?
I said that last week. Right? When the original numbers came out, we were like, that's pretty low. Then they got revised and came back even lower than that. And it was like, well, they're starting to put the billboards up per se. Hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. If you don't react, right, now you're not doing your job. And so they've kind of laid the path for him. Hey.
We've been telling you guys forever. The job market is in shambles. Like the real number is probably 3.5 million jobs over 4 years. It's not there. All these positive job numbers, I'm like, where?
Hospitality. That's what they'll tell you.
Bottle service, maybe, but no, they're not there.
The bottle service.
Well, speaking of that, so Jamie Dimon said that it's a weakening in the economy, and as you said, nearly 1 million phantom jobs. As far as they're saying that the numbers aren't real. Even Jamie Dimon said, like, you know, the market is still showing the economy is weakening. A lot of things don't make sense. Maybe potentially AI can solve this problem as far as getting real accurate data. But 93% chance of recession, UBS is saying, in the next year, I believe, or next couple of years. But like I said, the stock market is at all-time high. NASDAQ all-time high, S&P 500 all-time high. Gold all-time high. Bitcoin is not far from all-time high.
Yep.
So, okay, is this a house of cards that is going to come crashing down very soon?
Spacey. To be honest, I don't know, because I don't know, even with the jobs numbers, right? I don't know if they didn't want him to cut rates if the real number would ever came out. So they revised what the definition of a recession was before. And then when I talk to people who are analysts, they're like, okay, they may start announcing sector-specific recession. I'm like, what the hell is that? They're like, well, it may be a recession in mid-sized banks, but not global banks, or SaaS economy, but not major tech. And I'm like, when did this start happening? I'm like, the last 3 years. So they're literally changing the rule book right in front of you. So do I feel like we've been in recession since maybe 23? A soft one, pause if it does need it. But I don't know if they'll announce a full-blown recession, especially given who's in office and the control that it's had at the time, because that word is so terrifying and sends ramifications throughout the market. And also there's a tale of two economies. Like I was saying this over the weekend, I've never seen the market fly so high, but if you're not invested, it feels like 08, 09, 2010 in the economy. At least in 2008, everyone was affected, whether you were rich or poor. It feels like only the if you're making less than 150, you're going through a recession. If you're making 200 and up, you're not. So there's a divergence in the economy overall. But I don't even know if they'll announce that we are in a recession. That's the scary part. Like the numbers are being released selectively to tell the truth, and then selectively being hidden when they don't want that R word to come out.
Yeah, it's a new day and age, man. I think I was going to start with you kind of said it, and I think we've kind of alluded to this before, that there's a recession happening somewhere in the market. There's always some, right? Like it's always happening. In terms of when we think that we'll see a recession like we did with the pandemic, I don't know. I don't see the signs, right? UBS has said something, but the Federal Reserve Bank of New York said there's a 20% chance next year. And so,
but even look at the gap in that report, 93 versus 20.
It's like what's happening here. So then you got to look at deeper data, right?
Yep.
If we look at the economy, if we look at valuations of these companies, if we look at expansion, does that speak to a slowdown, right? We just watched a company say, hey, we're going to provide $30 billion to another company last week. 300 billion. I'm sorry. I left a zero out. 300 billion. And that's a private company.
Yeah.
Right. So the private market is still there. You're still seeing IPOs. We're seeing companies come to the market and they're running. Technology certainly doesn't seem like there's going to be a recession. So it's tough, but there will be one somewhere. Healthcare, it feels like it was in one this year.
Well, I think we're talking about two different things. You're talking like the valuation and performance of publicly traded companies is not necessarily directly related to the average person as far as living. Yep. There's more jobs. We talked about this last week, right? Okay. Where there's more jobs, there's more people unemployed than jobs available, right? That's a disturbing trend.
That's scary.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So we know that people can't find work.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
By
we know.
design.
And we also know that even more jobs are going to be eliminated or downsized or shortened over the next 5 to 10 years. That's what we know also.
Yep.
So the signs are there for economic trouble. Companies are still doing well, some, but the average person is struggling financially. We see that travel is down. We see that, there's a variety of different factors that we can go through. So the signs are actually pointing towards
I think
economic recession.
I'll argue that, right? The question was, do we see a recession happen in 2026? A recession, by definition, is 2 negative quarters. So we can have all like on a personal, like, yes, those things are all true. But if we're going by definition, then the market would have to have 2 negative quarters. By definition,
it's not the market's GDP.
2 negative quarters, which would be determined by what moves. A number of factors.
I've always said 27 when we did Breakfast Club a couple of years ago. I said 27. But if you look at, to Rashad's point, even in this company in recession, Target, like
that's
the retail space, with the exception of Costco and Walmart, Lululemon, destroy. No one's saying anything. And once again, we were negative for 2 quarters before, and they changed the definition.
True.
I've never seen it happen.
Right. So that's why, and that goes back to the point I'm saying. It's happening in certain sectors. It is happening. That's why I think when they say it's cyclical, right? Like, well, when it goes on the opposite end of the cyclical pattern, then that technically is in that recession. Like, so you just brought up consumer discretionary and retail. We're seeing it happen right now. There's going to be a vast change that's happening. Right. On the other end, and if we look at energy, where that's headed, you can see that that's coming out of what looks like it could have been a recession. Technology and the semis, right? They're not in a recession, but we've seen in 2022 what that has been the complete opposite, and they led the Nasdaq to drive down 32%. So it feels like recessions kind of feel like secular at this point,
which is some bullshit. I'm going to be very honest. Like, a sector-specific recession is like cheating on Saturdays and saying that I'm faithful on Monday through Friday. Like, what the hell are we talking? Like, even economists are like befuddled that they won't tell the truth unless it's for their benefit. And once again, I don't think this jobs number would have came out unless they were trying to pressure him to cut rates to send the market flying higher. Even like if we talk about Vlad Tenev at Robinhood, the introduction of AI into Robinhood to be able to make your own indicate, like, we're seeing technological advancement at scale. But anybody that I talk to that is like been a coder, the vibe coding thing is starting to become real. And like Rashad just pointed out, AI is going to kill a lot of jobs. Like, there was an industry of coders that made indicators for traders. Robinhood just ate that market in one announcement. It's tough.
But I think it's part of it. I would argue, right? That's part of it, right? People, and when we talked about how we get inflation numbers to come down, there's certain metrics that you have to see, right? You have to see that job number come down.
Yeah,
they've seen that. They made sure that it came down even further than we thought, right? So now it's pointing to, like I said, they've actually laid out the game plan for him. If he doesn't react now, there's going to be tons of pressure.
And the Warren Buffett indicator, the entire market is strongly overvalued. The ratio is 217%. It factors in the U.S. stock market value versus the annualized GDP. Like, all the signs are flashing, but it's like the haves have found a way to avoid recession while the have-nots get double the tsunami of the financial burden. It's scary. And then for those who you are well-to-do, if you think this is not going to affect you, oh, it is.
Right.
Oh, it is.
How far are we? I guess I'll open this up for everybody here. How far are we from a universal basic income?
We're far because of the political structure that we live in America, but also there's going to be a global reset, and it's going to be a global recession.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, you see all the signs is there if you're paying attention. Politically, there's anti-immigration, strong right-wing parties that's popping up all over, including Japan.
Yes, talk about it.
Japan, Australia, we already know America, Brazil. This is a global fight back. That's a sign. That's a sign of economic uncertainty and people being scared. Because when times are good, you're not worrying about that. You start worrying. Fear mongering comes when people are nervous. Then you add artificial intelligence. Then you add government spending across the board.
It's insane.
So it's only so long that you can put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. Eventually, you're going to have to figure things out.
Does that happen in 26?
The pullback, no. I think we'll start to see signs of it in 27.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll see signs of it in
the
27.
EU's in shambles. France is on the verge of collapse.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go on and on. Then you're not even talking about global uncertainty as far as
Canada.
The safety concerns around the world.
Yeah.
Middle East is exploding daily. It's not getting any better. It's only getting worse.
And there seems to be very little collaboration amongst the world leaders besides BRICS to even fix some of the debt issues and some of the declines. Like I keep saying it, for the first time in history, we have a billionaire in Ray Dalio and a billionaire in Vlad Tenev telling you at scale the ills of American society and that you have to invest is mandatory. Even some people, it's like, well, he's doing that because he wants more users on this platform. For the record, Vlad doesn't need more users. Vlad's already rich as hell. You're seeing more people talk about this because they see that the job market of the 1990s and 2000s in the United States is never going to come back. Even for those of you who are applying, I said this before, and you're improving your resume with AI. They have AI tools that are flagging African American candidates out of the fucking positions
for using it.
Like at scale. I keep saying part of the AI will be a Trojan horse to make the wealth gap wider, and it's going to affect us first. But whatever we go through, the country as a whole is going to seem to go through a few years later. So I think we'll start to see a part of that trickle down effect in a negative fashion start to happen in 27.
Okay. Let's talk about MicroStrategy. I know people had asked questions about that last week. We didn't get a chance to cover it. But MicroStrategy had an interesting couple of years if you followed Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. And it's interesting because they're still up year to date, $22, but they've struggled. And especially over the last like 3 months.
Yeah.
They peaked at 455 and now they're down to like 322. And some people can't fully understand that because it's been tied with Bitcoin. Bitcoin hasn't dropped as drastically as MicroStrategy, even though it's not at its all-time high. Bitcoin is not too far from it. So people have concerns about MicroStrategy. There's a few things to keep in concern. One is that they didn't get accepted into the S&P 500. That was something that hurt sentiment. Robinhood took the spot, and some people thought that MicroStrategy was going to be S&P 500. Michael Saylor gave an interview and said that that's not a big deal because he wasn't even thinking about the S&P 500. That usually doesn't happen until a couple of years down the line. So he's playing kind of damage control on that. And then a few other government regulations, and even I think they try to propose a law. I think they did where a company is limited as far as the amount of Bitcoin that they can actually hold on their books. So there's been a few things. There's been a few things that have hurt MicroStrategy outside of the regular just tracking Bitcoin. But Saylor is still pretty bullish on the whole situation. They're still buying Bitcoin at tremendous amounts. And MicroStrategy has always been something that was a leverage play for Bitcoin, meaning that it ideally, in a perfect scenario, it goes up much faster than Bitcoin when Bitcoin goes up, but it also goes down faster than Bitcoin when Bitcoin goes down. Okay, so where does MicroStrategy stand right now?
I think people are incredibly pessimistic at a time when they should be optimistic about it. I've had of course, my fair share of thoughts about Michael Saylor, but the lesson on diversification being a myth is clearly illustrated here. Hyperconcentration is the way to go. If it gets down to 298.17, it's a place that I really like it. The thing that I am worried about, which you illustrated, is that regulation of how much Bitcoin you can have on the books. And I'm going to be honest, I think it's unfair to do this to him now. Him and Kathy's situation are a little bit different, but I feel as if, and that crypto dinner was telling, who was at that proverbial table, I think they're picking on him. But Michael has been incredibly resilient, and having that many Bitcoins on their balance sheet is only going to be in their favor. So, but 298 is a price, if they get to that point, that I would love to have an entry on it. And I think they're just going through a down cycle now. But ultimately they will be okay. I wouldn't worry about this too much. I think people who are also pessimistic may have bought too high in that 375 and above range, and it's just coming back to where it should be. But by next year, I think they'll definitely be okay. And especially if we start to get into recession talk or economic contraction, I think they're going to benefit incredibly well as a result, because all the money is flying to zones of safety like Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, Nvidia, gold. People are trying to park money where they're going to get a guaranteed return. And on a dark horse side, I think MicroStrategy leads the pack.
So you bullish?
Yeah, for sure.
You still bullish?
For
I
sure.
mean, if you believe in Bitcoin, you got to believe in MicroStrategy.
Yeah, you can't.
If fates are linked together.
Yeah. Because this is an ultimate hedge. Like, I don't know what he's doing on the tech side outside of this, but to have this much focus on just one asset, and now Tom Lee is doing the same thing with Ethereum. Unless you think that the value of Bitcoin is going to go back to 50,000, which I see a lot of those reports coming out of it dropping to 72,000 or 50. I don't see it. There's too much institutional and global involvement for it to have that deep of a decline. So yeah, I think MicroStrategy would be a okay.
Yeah, it's just one of these things. If you watch when Bitcoin kind of consolidates, if you track it with MicroStrategy, you'll start to see it kind of consolidates as well. And so when it runs up to 125, it pulls back down to 110 or 115 where it's at now. You'll see MicroStrategy obviously come down a little bit just because of the buying power and the prices that it's buying at. So watch those two things, the correlation between the two, when it peaks and when it consolidates.
Michael, better go talk to Donald and Eric and David Sachs, though.
Eric, he different type of talk now.
Listen, this is the crypto check-in.
Yeah, Eric,
you better go to Washington.
He part of the club now,
for sure. Go check in.
Yeah.
ASML, company that we spoke about several different times, but it's doing well.
You don't say. You don't say.
On to the upside.
Yeah, man. ASML is been talking about for years now. I feel like in the past 3 classes has been at the top of the list in terms of how we need to look at this company. I think in last month, or maybe in July, when we did the Market Mondays little segment, I showed people exactly what their operation is in this AI revolution in terms of the machinery that they produce, having a monopoly on that machinery, and what it's going to mean for all the hyperscalers in the world, the Metas, the Nvidias, the TSMs. They all are part of this. And at the top of the food chain is them, because they produce, in terms of AI right now, right? The food chain starts with them in terms of machinery, then it goes down to TSM, and then it goes to the hyperscalers, Nvidia included. So one of the issues that we saw over the past 6 months is that it not being a U.S. company and tariffs being put on Europe at 30%, I believe. And that's going to affect the business. And it's tough to predict your bottom line when you don't know what the tariffs are going to be going forward. That has kind of eased a little bit. The demand from the hyperscalers, we saw Nvidia report, we saw Broadcom report, we saw Oracle just report. That demand tells you that how much they're going to be needed going forward. One of the issues that they had was the price of the LUV machine that they make. I think it's like 400 million per. So I mean, it takes years to build those. That is coming. They're figuring out how to make that in a more efficient way, and they're taking on more clients. So the debt that they used to spend to try to get the machines done is starting to come down off the books, and more clients are coming into the fold. So ASML has been one that we've been talking. I mean, for years. I feel like in 2020 we were talking about ASML.
Yeah, or at least 21 at the latest.
Had a crazy run up past 1,000, pulled back down to 600s. I know a few people grabbed some 600 calls, some 650 calls on the way up, and now we're sitting here over 800. And it's a nice run that it's on, definitely, right? Again, when we talk about support and resistance, once it hits some of these support levels and runs through them, you can understand the importance of this company and why it's needed.
Yeah, absolutely. I have it getting to 982 by summer of next year, 982.83. So if you're long ASML, I will continue to hold for the long term.
Yeah, it's a pricey one too, especially if you're trading options. It's pricey. It's in my big boy heavyweight category. Those are the ones. The contracts are sometimes $9,000, $10. It's a big boy. So I don't suggest it for everybody, but we understand the importance of the company.
Okay.
Hell of a bounce in April, though. You got to give them credit. They've done a great job since.
Resilience, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, and rather than just listening to what we're saying, understand why we're saying it is the big thing. All right. So if you understand the food chain, quote unquote, of how semiconductors are leading the economy or leading the market, then you understand the role that this company plays.
Yeah. And I think their CEO, Christoph, is a good CEO, but I think he does need a stronger PR push and take a playbook out of Jensen and Vlad Tenov's playbook, because I think the company's too valuable for him to not be known. And I think that will offset some of the tariff international concerns as well.
Yeah, the one thing that is a concern, if we're looking at it long term, is what role will they play when it switches over to quantum computing? So that we got to just be mindful of. For sure. Right, because you can make the wafers, right, and you can make the 3 nanometer. After 3, maybe it's 2, and then after that, we probably pretty much go into quantum computing. What role will they play when the evolution goes to that? And I don't know if they have the answer yet. I don't know the answer to it.
Maybe Apple Intelligence will work after we have quantum computing. Back to you, Troy and Rashad.
I'm gonna ask Claude what they think.
Go by Claude, Apple.
You don't think that Apple's the new feature is beneficial?
What feature?
With translation
for the AirPods?
Yeah,
it's cute. If you about to go do your,
come on, man.
Como se dice, fire. But I mean, Meta glasses had them. Probably 2 years ago. Them Samsung earbuds had them. They had some on TikTok. I don't know how well they worked, but a bunch of guys hit me. Was like, "Yo, I got these at the TikTok shop." I'm like, "You're telling too much on yourself about your Jamaica and DR trip." I do think that they're innovating on the hardware front. I just think that they're missing
on the phone
on an AI investment and improvement on the phone.
Yeah, they're missing. But so that's the thing, right? They are missing the phone clear cut, right? But the stock is still trading over 3 to what is it?
The stock has been.
So that means that there's a part of it. When I looked into this, I said there's a piece that we've been missing. We've been harsh, but fair. We've been fair about the critique of Apple, but there is a piece that we have missed every time we spoke about them. Yes, the phone has fallen short. They debuted the 17. I'm not impressed. The wearables is a business, and we told you that could be its own business by itself.
Yep.
That has done well. Services has done well, right? We have to be fair. Services have done well. The MacBooks have performed well. iPads have performed well. The phone just has not performed well. But here's what they have done. They've taken more control of their own ecosystem. Yeah. And that we haven't given them credit for, right? Instead of going out and getting GPUs, they decided we're going to create our own. The M1, M2,
Good
they put that
investment.
inside. Even now with their force of manufacturing that the president has put on them, right? Now they're saying we're going to do that here. They're taking control of their supply chain more and more. Now, they should be doing more in terms of acquisitions, and maybe that will happen before the year's out. I've read some rumors. But they are starting to take control of their supply chain, which will help their bottom line long term.
And I understand from a services standpoint, when people give pushback, I'm like, well, the services, I'm like, I know y'all got that data from me. Got you. But you can't keep incrementally increasing prices. Like you guys posted it, the rumor of the prices may go up to 2,000 for the phone. It's like, okay, you can end up pricing yourself out of a market if the feel is not premium. The hardware feels premium. AirPod Max is amazing. Rashad, as you talked about, I think it was a great addition to the new AirPods. But if you look at what OpenAI has created with ChatGPT, it looks like what iOS should be. Like 5 years ago, Microsoft missed out on investing into TikTok. Made a hell of a rebound by investing into OpenAI. I just haven't seen that kind of move from Apple. And I think as a result, and it's not just my thought, the entire world is now saying it was a miscalculation to not have better. And the miss on the car, the miss on healthcare, they've pretty much have given up on that space for the time being. I just think they could calibrate a hell of a lot better. But
the investment in TikTok in what way?
Remember when it was like around 5 years ago when Microsoft was trying to make a bid to get TikTok and get it.
I'm glad you wrote that.
But they got OpenAI. Hell of a constellation.
You know who
I think that they've been more focused than Apple has. And I think Apple has gotten a little bit comfortable in just having the ecosystem and not looking at the thing, what is next, and skating to what is next.
I want to revisit this conversation because there's an important company that did win that bid 5 years ago when the president of the United States, who is also the president now, decided to say that we need to ban TikTok in 2020 of August. A company in September did win the bid. Y'all know who the company is? Oracle.
For sure.
So here's what you do. This is your homework right now. For everybody that's watching right now, this is your homework. In 2020, September of 2020, I want you to go look at Oracle's chart and look what it's done since that moment. Look what it's done since that moment. Here's why that's important. This is why that deal was so important. Number one, Oracle was not a cloud service yet. This is the first client that they had to prove that they can actually take on a large database, a social media database, and create the United States data for TikTok. So people would think that China owns your data. No, Oracle actually has your data when it comes to TikTok here in the United States. What they've shown over the 5 years is that they can scale it. They can scale it. Why is that important? Because in June of this year, they also got another platform to run data for. That company's name is OpenAI. Right? So if they didn't have the TikTok deal in September of 2020, they don't get the $300 billion from OpenAI this year. They don't have the run that they have this year. When we told you about who's going to be running cloud, obviously we know Amazon. Obviously we know Azure and Microsoft. We talked about Google Cloud. I said number 4 was going to be Oracle. Why? Because they've proven it already. Now, here's why this is important. Today, the president said that they have a buyer for TikTok, a United States buyer.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who it is.
Power of relationship.
I wonder who.
Power of relationship.
Well, speaking of Oracle, let's talk about Oracle. Obviously, that was the talk of the town last week when Oracle stock went crazy and it made Larry Ellison the richest man in the world for that time period. And we posted it about the options that you spoke about before on EY University, and it was the whole thing. So talk about the Oracle play.
Well, a part of it was that this is like when you go into those rabbit holes of research. Something happened in January of this year when 2 gentlemen were invited to the White House and a company was missing. And that gentleman was Sam Altman, and the other gentleman was Larry Ellison, and the CEO of SoftBank. They were there to announce Stargate, which made me think, I'm like, Stargate, that sounds very familiar, right? If you do the research, Stargate was actually an initiative that Microsoft and OpenAI created. They
Yep.
spearheaded. This was their idea. Microsoft and OpenAI, which makes sense. They're partners. When they came to announce Stargate, I think it was the day after the inauguration, Microsoft wasn't there. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, wait, this seems pretty funny. How did Larry Ellison get into this position to now be partnered with OpenAI? I'm like, okay, well, let's see his ties to the president. So you start going back, which is why I went all the way back to September of 2020. And it was a huge, huge piece on it in the Washington Post about how Oracle is now going to be the cloud provider for TikTok. So then I said, oh, let me go look at the charts. All right, well, the chart showed, and you can see it now, right? What is done since that moment. I said, okay, Oracle's onto something, right? They're not just hardware. This is not just a software company. They're going into a space where they've seen Amazon dominate. They've seen Microsoft dominate. They have one of the wealthiest men in the world. At the time, he was number 4. I said, they have capital to invest in this space. Lo and behold, in late May, there was rumors that they were going to partner with a company in the AI space. That company, obviously, we know now was OpenAI. In July, when that was announced, I said, oh, this is something that we have to be involved in. They're going to have a moment. They're going to have a moment. I've been saying they're going to have a moment. That moment happened. They became a 4th player inside of the cloud service. And if you know anything about AI, you know memory is going to be important, right? Cloud service is going to be important. Infrastructure is going to be important. And who are the hyperscales that they can work with? Obviously, signing that 300 billion.
Yes, it's huge.
It's just absolutely incredible. And so you saw the run up because the growth that it looks like out into 2028 is tremendous. And so they now have a vertical inside their business that didn't exist 7 years ago, but it's here now, and it's only going to grow as OpenAI grows. Again, OpenAI is not a public company yet, but you can see how it's starting to infiltrate and disrupt plenty of industries. In fact, an industry that their partner, Microsoft, was dominating in, right? They are now just announced that they're going to be creating a LinkedIn-like product. LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. Right? So they have a great partner, but they're adding. You know who else they've added? And this is why I said Larry and Elon is pretty interesting because XAI,
they have a great relationship. Yep.
They are the cloud provider for them as well. And so now Nvidia is in talks to add Oracle because, yeah, you can have cloud service, but you can't have enough, right? And you want to have a multitude of partners, and they've gone into that right space, which is why another company, and when I say the 4, I'm talking about the top 4 in America, because somebody will argue that Alibaba, in terms of the globe, is number 4, and that's true. They are. When we're talking about American companies in American cloud services, it's clear cut now that Oracle's number 4.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay. So as far as Oracle, what is the outlook as far as the company is concerned? Stock price.
I mean, of course, it had to rise to 345.72. Larry's one of the best entrepreneurs, definitely in the tech space. Great relationship. I mean, I can definitely see it hitting 408 next year. 92. But in terms of the partnerships that he has, and Larry's one of the few people who he's a shrewd business person, but has a great relationship with everyone in tech. I wouldn't be surprised if it hits 510 by 2027. So it's going to be a slow burn. It's not going to be a company that gives you 80% return year over year, nothing like that. But I definitely see them get to the 500 range by 27.
Yeah, so it's a unique situation. It's a unique story. That's why you have to be early on the story. But the story's not over. I think it definitely speaks to about where CapEx is going when you see what they're doing, and it's interesting like how they've positioned this. I'll send a post so people can understand how this works. Why they're buying Nvidia GPUs, how they're using it to get cloud, and they're also charging it. It's a whole tax incentive, but the story is far from over. I think it's interesting. Last week, we keep telling people, well, what should I do when I reach my gains? And I'm like, well, if you had your plan, then you know what to do, right? Like you're up 100%. Some people were up 500%. They're like, what should I do? I'm like, what do you want to do? Like you're up 500%. There's nothing to sneeze at. Be very happy for that, but have the plan of what you're going to do. Then we saw, when it ran up to 331, which was incredible, right? It was at 240 the night before. The next day it opened, it was at 230. And people were saying, wait, it's dropping. It's getting down to 315. It's getting down to 309. It's under 300. Yeah, well, people are going to take profit when you see runs like that. Of course, you have to take profit, but take real clear inventory of where it stopped at, right? So that becomes that new resistance line. So I remember, shout out to Abby, him and Pierre actually did a call. I'm like, yo, watch that 290 line. If it goes under 290, we could fall a little bit more. But if it stays above that, let's mark that line. And it stayed at 292 the entire Friday, and then today, obviously, we saw it spike up again. So the story's not over on it. If you missed this run, obviously, all right, the story's not over. You can still get positions. It will have some pullback, but it's here to stay. It's here to stay.
It gapped up $100.
Yeah, like that. I mean, it's abnormal, bro. The largest
23 to 345. Like, of course, you're going to have a pullback, but once, like, you have to know your targets, like 100%, 250, 500. Like most investors in any investment, whether it's venture, angel, if you get 500% return, that is a clear signal to profit.
100% transparency. When they had their earnings, I was on the phone. I said, look, if we open at 267 tomorrow, I'm happy. I'm happy with that, right? We were in the 250 call. I'm like, we get to 267 by tomorrow, I'm happy with that. To watch it climb $100 was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is unprecedented. So shout out to everybody that was
know your targets.
Yeah. We're not done yet, though. We're not done. We got some more companies we got to talk about.
That's Stargate. And that partnership with OpenAI, my Lord, that'll take them another 5 or 6 years out.
Yeah. So they're talking about out to 2028 with this $300 billion. So that, I mean, when 2025, you got maybe 2.5 years to that point. What happens after that point?
How reimagine and reinvest.
Exactly. What will the economy look like at that point? What will AI look like at that point? I mean, it's going to be vastly different than where we are now. And
if that relationship with Microsoft changes, they may be in pole position, B2B side.
Facts.
So, yeah. You want to read this off? The structure?
Read it.
All right. So this is a dope post. And maybe we'll post it. It says, 1, Nvidia sells GPUs to Oracle. Oracle uses those to power its data centers, right? 2, Oracle builds cloud on those GPUs. 3, Nvidia rents compute back via signed deals with Oracle. So, right, this is that money cycle we're talking about. So Nvidia gets reoccurring revenue from hardware sales and cloud services without owning all the data centers. Oracle turns CapEx, the buying of the GPUs, into open revenue by renting compute to Nvidia, OpenAI, and others. XAI is another one. These are money cycles.
Yeah, right? I put that in Stock Club over the weekend. Yep.
You saw it. Yeah.
Like power of partnership.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. And I keep saying it, this administration, even though it has some ills in it, they're showing you the cap table literally. They're not hiding who the power players are going to be in the future. I keep saying Sam Altman was sitting right next to Trump as a non-publicly traded CEO. They're telling you what's next. The table is already set. Literally. Just follow the money of who's up there.
And think about the family when we talk about Larry Ellison. Last month, we were talking about his son purchasing Skydance bought Paramount. Right? That's a network. CBS, Cartoon Network, entire network. Last week, they're in a bid to own Warner Discovery. 2 networks in 2 months.
Yep.
This is different.
Generational wealth.
Different.
Yep. So let's talk about, speaking of Trump. So Trump has floated the idea that companies should no longer provide earning report on a quarterly basis, and they should switch to semi-annually instead. And he said on Truth Social, subject to the SEC approval, it would save money and allow managers to focus on properly running their companies. Did you ever hear the statement that China has a 50 to 100-year view of management of a company, whereas we run our companies on a quarterly basis? Not good.
First time in history, I'm gonna say,
Yo, he's on to something.
Trump and I said 3 or 4 years ago, we should go to annual reporting. I think the cycle of focusing on 3 months at a time when all of our competition is focused on 20 and 50-year cycles is a huge mistake. It was great back in the day because post 1929 through 33, when we had that big crash, there was companies that were of ill repute that were lying about the numbers. I think it's easier to track the data now more than ever. But I have long thought for the longest, maybe 10 years, that we should report on an annual basis. So for the first time, and not first time, but publicly, I agree with Trump 1,000%. And I think this adjustment should happen immediately, but it probably won't happen to 28 or 29.
You think it'll happen?
I think that there should be an adjustment at some point.
Yeah, I only ask because it speaks to the. I partly agree. There is some truth into what you're saying and what he's saying. I think the other part of it is the gross negligence of some of these companies and these CEOs. Like, I still remember the Luke and Coffee thing, right? Like, I still remember that. Now, that was a Chinese company, but even Supermicro, even last 2023 coming into this year, 2024 coming into this year, gross mismanagement. And no disrespect to anybody at Supermicro, still believe in the company, but the numbers were fabricated, right? To the point where they had to say, hey, if you don't show us the numbers, we're going to delist you. So if you report they didn't get delisted, how do you deal with that? Companies like that?
I think if there's any misreporting of numbers, I think the falls will be greater as a result. But if the numbers are met on an annual basis, I think the returns will be even higher. And it's interesting to see what the Fed is going to do in terms of interest rates. I know it can cause some, and for smaller companies, it may give a disadvantage, but for the companies that move the world, S&P 500, NASDAQ, I think it would be a lot easier just to have annual reporting, and a company can focus on things that really matter. Because even for us, we're not planning 3 months at a time.
Right.
But it's also harmful. For the reason why it won't happen is because it's harmful for Wall Street, and it's harmful for the company stocks. Because if you miss, now you got to wait a whole year to report back. The quarterly has gone back to the gamification and just the trading mentality of stocks in general, where it allows. It's like every week there's somebody that's reporting, and then you get to bet on that. And then if it doesn't work out, then 3 months later you get to, change your bet, or it's plays for, yes, as far as running a company, it's way more efficient to run a company without giving reports at all, honestly, right? And just focus on the pathway forward. But yeah, the annual will make a lot more sense as far as what's good for the company. But what's good for Wall Street and what's good for traders, not even just investors, what's good for traders, quarterly is going to be better, because that just gives more opportunity.
I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah.
You my guy.
I think both things are true. I think what he's saying is true. I think that's why I said some of the things it's saying, I agree.
I mean, most of the trades are algo. Now 8 out of 10 traders are algo.
Yeah, but it's still, it's a big deal, right? It's the investing Final Four, where you get to, it's essentially like betting on Crawford. Like this drums
it
up.
It does give big liquidity events, but most of them getting our ass kicked on them earnings anyway.
But then the liquidity event, like the focus now becomes December of each year, right? Like if they did it by a calendar year, and everybody has different fiscal years, right? Like
that's true.
Everybody's fiscal year is different, but even if you did the hype, I would say like I'm looking at Palantir's chart now, right? If you would have looked at it last year, right, to enter the year, we were trading at what, $75?
Yeah.
70. You would have to wait to know how it's done this year to even realize the gains that it's had, which would be, I don't know how you would do it.
And from a transparency standpoint, as far as the investor, it's not fit. SEC would not approve that, because it's not fair to the investor, because you could just have 10 months of running amok and nobody knows what the hell is going on, right? Like it's more
from a protection
transparency.
standpoint, yeah. And that's why Trump maybe said semi-annual.
That yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I said. The gross mismanagement part is the thing, right? Like we'll run amok and nobody has to know for a year. You know how much are they gonna run off with? We wouldn't know that, hey, CEO sold 10 million shares. Right? We'd have to wait to see all that.
Well, I think you selling
I think
shares
it's only
that gets reported different than a quarterly earnings.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about quarterly earnings.
13F, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of this to me, because I'm only focusing on exceptional companies that are like mega cap or blue chip. I don't think it would matter as much, but if it's a company like GameStop, AMC, of course there would be some.
Those would be out there. Yeah, the meme stock thing wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Only 33% of family offices have exposure to crypto. Is that a sign of deep skepticism or what? I personally think that people you're not going to invest in something that you're not 100% confident in. And all the family offices are already wealthy. They're managing billions of dollars, trillions of dollars. So they're not going to go with something that you're 80 years old, you're a billionaire, there's no benefit in you
to put the risk on the table.
Yeah. I think that has nothing to do with the legitimacy of Bitcoin. It has more to do with it's old money that's being managed. And they don't want to do something that they don't understand.
And like you said, like to not put the risk on the table, and they've used PE to get the same kind of returns they got out of Bitcoin with minimum downside. So just because a class of investor doesn't invest in something doesn't mean that it has no value. But if you can keep the risk off the table and get the same kind of returns in private equity or venture, why do it?
Yeah. The goal and the role of the family office is to preserve generations of wealth.
Yep.
And I think what Shai's saying is spot on. There's an ageism that comes with it, right? Like it's tough to convince. Even now, it's tough to convince people 50, 60 years old that this is an asset you should invest in. Tell that to a 25-year-old, it makes perfect sense. 30 years, like there's an age that comes with it because they've seen it during their lifetime and they've seen the growth of the asset. Yeah.
Oh, the obvious Netflix. Got to talk about how ever since they had that Mike Tyson fight, how everything post that the WWE has been flawless. Of course, the fight this weekend was amazing, but if we just talking in terms of stock, is there any other company media-wise outside of Google that you would invest in other than Netflix?
Media as in
publicly traded.
Streaming media?
Yeah.
I mean, Google.
Yeah, those are the two.
Yeah, I think those are the two. There was an interesting piece in the journal about how the idea of streaming was great, but the execution of it over the past 3 years is going to lead us back into piracy.
Tell me more. That's fascinating.
Right. So we saw like the largest shutdown of the pirate site. We'll leave the name anonymous in history, but the idea of cable was a prehistoric thing, right? And so cord cutting became the thing.
Yeah.
And that became a cheaper solution for people to have the same content. But if you looked at your bills, especially if you have all these streaming services, you're paying more than you did when you had cable. Right. So if you got Netflix, now that's $24.99. If you got Disney Plus, now you're at $20.99.
Yep.
Right. If you got Prime, there goes another $12.99. If you did Paramount, you're starting to add up. And if you did YouTube TV, now you're over $200.
Yeah.
And
is
so
piracy higher now? Because I can't even at
I think we're headed back. Like at a
that site point, got shut down, and it was
it was like that was a story that it got shut down. But when you try to ban, we've seen this especially in our lifetime, when something gets banned, something new arises, right? Whether it was Napster that turned into LimeWire, like all those, and then until they figured out how can we control this thing called illegal down. Oh wait, boom, Apple Music, right? So as these, and the prices aren't going down because the content keeps getting better. If you look at the Emmys last night and you look at the shows that won, the leaders came from these streaming services.
Absolutely.
Right? Like Apple TV with Severance. I think they have Apple TV has a show with Seth Rogen as well, and they did well.
They cleaned up.
They cleaned up too. So the content is getting better, but the content costs money. In order to do that, sometimes you got to raise prices. You did cord cutting, so people can't share their passwords anymore. All these things you're putting in place, people are going to start saying like, "Hey, I'm out, man. I'm going to figure out how to get this for free."
Yeah.
Not us though. Law-abiding citizens.
For sure. Are you done with Disney?
I'm not done with Disney. I'm not done with Disney. I think they're turning it around, man. I think they're turning it around. I'm still not sure what the ESPN thing is, but
a disaster.
I'm not gonna call it.
Those are my thoughts, not Troy, not Richard. My thoughts. A disaster.
Disney. No, I'm not done. I'm not done. I'll say that. I'm gonna save it because I got some I'm about to do with the people.
Gotcha.
There's a few companies I'm going to be talking about in the next class that I think is going to be eye-opening. Shout out to Disney. And shout out to, I think Disney Plus just carried Pharrell he was performing at the Vatican. That was on Disney Plus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. The clips was there. Shout out to him.
For production.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Drone show was incredible.
The Vatican is different, y'all. Pharrell, call us. Whatever you got to. Out of here. What?
Different.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Pharrell Williams.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What do we feel about
Nah. You want me to talk about Micron real quick?
Let's do it.
I'll do Micron real quick because they're having a moment right now. This is a company. I feel like if we go back in Market Mondays, I feel like Shai's always asked me under pressure, like, "Yo, bro, Micron." People talking about and now they're having a moment, and it's gotten like the silencers have come out, right? But Micron is a company, and I've talked about this. If it's going to be American made and make America great, then find the American companies that are great. I thought last week was very telling when Cheryl McKisnick, when we talked about infrastructure and data centers.
Yeah.
When she talked about the company that she's helping build infrastructure for, it was Micron, and it's the Syracuse, I think, well, in the Syracuse region, they're building their data centers up there. They obviously have ones in Idaho as well. But we talked about this when we went to GTC for Nvidia about the partnerships that were existing in the building and the ones who had large imprints, Micron being one of them. They are the leader. The United States leader in high bandwidth memory. In order to have GPUs that have inference, and that's important, right? Young ladies and gentlemen, go look up the word inference in terms of AI. If your AI is going to have inference, it needs to have memory, which Claude needs, all of them need. They are the leader in that space. And why they're having a moment is because typically when people look at DRAM, which is a form of DRAM, which is a form of memory, the high bandwidth sector has kind of been pretty cyclical. So like it'll spike and it'll come down. We saw Micron do that, ran up to 131, pulled down to like 77. And now we're up here in the 150s. Why? Because the catalyst event is upon us. Their earnings is going to be here next week, or the 23rd. So if you look at some of these catalyst events and the timing of them, you have quadruple witching, which is going to happen this week, but you have the Fed chair, which is going to lower rates. We told how that's going to affect technology companies, specifically in the semiconductor space, right? The cost of business goes down, the infrastructure prices go down. That's happening before they report on the 23rd. Analysts have raised their number to 175. Some I've seen up as high as 200. They've been consolidating for so long, and people have been in this position for so long that I'm happy that patience, P-A-Y, has paid off. It has paid off for a company that I said will be here, and it's doing well. And I think it is going to continue to do well. So that's my Micron story. We got some more stuff, but we're going to save it.
Yeah, they'll have a pullback in a little bit, but I think ultimately maybe by March they'll be at 180, and I can definitely see 201 in about a year and a half. So Yeah, patience definitely pays off for sure.
For sure.
I
Absolutely.
understand the ecosystem. Do we think Nvidia will have a pullback because China said that they broke monopoly laws, or do we think it, in the grand scheme of things, it won't matter?
I think it's all a distraction, man.
Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, it pulled down to 174. This is a train that's headed to 200.
Easily.
It's heading there. We could have these little stops and these goals, but if you look at when everybody reports, the demand that has not changed. The demand has not changed. Blackwell Ultra is about to be in the pipeline coming out. Rubin's coming. We already know Rubin's on the way. Rubin Ultra's on the way.
Yeah.
And
we saw the report. Better.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Ian.
No, they keep innovating and getting better, and demand is only going to increase. I know we talked about the hyper concentration, the number of customers, but even then, with them figuring out a way to sell a chip to China, and I don't see this company slowing down anytime soon over the next 3 or 4 years.
No, it feels like the DeepSeek moment. Do you remember? Do we remember that? That happened this year.
Mm-hmm.
That happened this year, and now China's saying, "Hey, we don't need to have Nvidia GPUs." Okay, well, let's see how that works.
We'll see when that Rubin come out and whatever they're working on next.
Yep. Alibaba, I think, is making their own. Okay. We'll be mindful of it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What should people expect for the rest of the month? I know you said traditionally that stocks drop in September, but we're halfway through the month and it's all-time highs. So is this still going to be some level of buying opportunity or not?
It's a buying opportunity every week, back to InvestFest. Go through your time frames, a month, week, day. If you look on those charts, you're going to have an opportunity to do so. And just because it did not happen this year doesn't mean that the anomaly is the norm. So even if you look at for Microsoft, we may have an opportunity maybe at 491.37 to get in. It's currently at 512. But if the anomaly is not the norm, so this is an exception to the rule, not the new rule. So because if that was the case, we wouldn't even be caring about changing or raising interest rates. But yeah, I think there'll definitely be opportunity. But look on your daily charts for quality companies for when we may pull back. And on QQQ, if we get to like that 574.79 mark, I think you'll be good. But if you want to know where to get into the market, you can go to ENFS.com and join the stock club. Prices are out. I've been dropping a bunch of stuff in Telegram, probably 5 different things a day. Stock club prices are out. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. If you want to be a part of the family and never have to guess where to get in or where to get out, go to ENFS.com and join the stock club. Love you.
Bro, that was a bar. That's the bar. Like if they're writing notes right now, write that down. The anomaly is not the norm.
Yeah.
And exception to the rule is not the new rule.
Yeah. Harold Miner had that one great year. He looked like Jordan.
He had one great dunk contest.
He had a dope season.
He averaged 12 points in his rookie season. But college, he was crazy.
Yeah, he was tough in college, yo.
College, he was crazy.
What do you think about Trump saying that no, the smart people don't like him?
That's interesting.
Above my pay grade. That's my version of nobody bigger than the program. Above my pay
That's
grade.
interesting.
No smart people like him. Is that what he said?
Smart people don't.
Smart people don't like him.
Does that say something about your base or like? How do you interpret that? I'm just asking for a friend.
Truth.com.
Truth.com.
Truth Social.
Truth, that's where we should go to find the answers. You're right.
Smart people don't like him. That's interesting to say that. Is that an indictment or?
I mean, I think that's pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward. Self-explanatory. Self-explanatory, ladies and gentlemen.
How are you gonna spin that one?
It don't matter. Spin it. Don't matter.
I don't know.
Manzani.
It's got an endorsement
because politics plays a major part.
Hold on. he just got the endorsement from the governor.
Yeah, he got an endorsement from the governor.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But do you think that that's something that people should be concerned about? A socialist?
You got the call, so you tell me.
Yeah, tell us more. I was not on that freeway.
I mean, people's always going to be some level of concern. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him. Mondani, I'm talking about. I haven't spoken to him. So if he would like to come on the show, he's welcome to express his views of what does it actually mean to be a socialist in New York City, and how he's going to handle the business community. More than welcome to come on the show and lay out his vision for the biggest city in America and the capital of capitalism. If he's interested in having a conversation,
he's well ahead right now. Every poll that they've shown, he's well ahead, and even in the Republican candidate is like 17%.
Well, the Republican candidate is not the threat. The threat
is Cuomo
and Adams.
Well, they say Adams. He says he's not dropping out, but all signs are showing that it may make sense for you to just call it.
Donald Trump already said if Mondani wins, they're gonna potentially take over the city, federal government.
Above my pay grade.
I'm not a resident of New York City, but I pray for everybody.
Out of New York business.
That's
interesting times though, and economically there does need to be a recalibration of how things are run. That's all I'll say. He does seem fearless though, and he does seem to have the ear of people. So changes may come, and it may be a precursor to what is going to happen in America overall if we keep having these divergences and price disparities at scale.
Sign of the times.
For sure. You eloquently stated it. Yep, sign of the times. This may be what the next election looks like as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
Man, we still year one. That's crazy. Still year one.
It's been a hell of a year.
It's been the longest year one.
Oh Lord!
Wow.
Once again, just from a sentiment standpoint, I've never seen so many rich and wealthy people work so hard like they're afraid that a financial tsunami is going to come. Wow. Larry Ellison, Elon Musk, Altman, Tim Cook, Satya. I've never seen LeBron. Shit, Bron ain't retired yet.
Not yet.
Fertitta. Bro. I keep Trump working. Eric Trump. David Sachs. Chamath was at the dinner too. I said, yo, there's some shit coming.
But yeah, Mondani, if you're interested,
please
sit down.
Let's have a conversation. Let's figure this thing out for the betterment of New York City, to move the city forward in the right direction. We want all parties to be on board with this.
For sure.
If he's gonna be the next leader of our great city.
The great city of New York.
And if you have a private conversation at BootyCon, text me. I'm hit the hell of
We've moved on to finer dining.
All right, let's bring up our guest. We have a special guest that is joining us for a segment.
Let's do this.
We have the CEO of Bevel, Damon Frost. What's going on, good brother? How you doing?
Welcome back, man.
Hey, appreciate y'all having me back on Market Mondays. I'm super excited to be able to, share, for the second year in a row, the Bevel InvestFest Vendor Marketplace Grant. So I'm super excited to be here. Appreciate y'all.
We're happy to have you, my brother.
Happy to have you here.
Thank you. Okay, so Bevel, like you said, second year in a row, took part in InvestFest as far as $25,000 grant given to a small business inside the vendor marketplace. So first off, can you just talk about that? And then I guess we're going to announce the winner, because we haven't announced the winner yet, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're announcing the winner. I want to give y'all a shout out. I had a great time at InvestFest. All the vibes was there. All the speakers were awesome. The vendor marketplace was dope. I actually walked through. I was super inspired by everything that I saw, all the people that I met. I made a bunch of new connections. I saw a bunch of companies that I ended up buying a bunch of stuff from and engaging with. So it was super dope, man. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
And it was, it was interesting, right? Because, the roots of Bevel was kind of came from an entrepreneurial spirit, right? And so, it was awesome to be able to see the different companies and engage with them on the grant. As you know, last year we gave a grant to Double Dutch Aerobics, which is all about a new fitness movement. They have over 60 aerobic exercises that are executed as part of Double Dutch. They have my whole team out here double dutching. Michelle doing an awesome job. So I wanted to just congratulate them on their success. And we were proud to be able to give them the grant last year. So now for this year, we had over 120 applicants. And it was very difficult to choose the winner. And I mean, we had folks from all over, empowering youth to advocating for STEM, to women overcoming tragedy and creating their own financial support structure and resources, to folks that's like trying to educate our people on their medical situations. So it was impressive, right? But I do want to announce that we chose the winning vendor is STEM Plug. So let's clap.
Flyers in the chat for STEM Plug.
So
Congrats.
Yeah.
So it was, listen, when I walked into this brother's booth, it was super impressive. It was founded by Rich Gillum. This guy is a TEDx speaker. He's an engineer. He comes from very humble backgrounds. He actually, part of his story is that he had a 1.8 GPA. And that inspired him to actually figure out how do you get people more engaged in the STEM arena. So, and his mission is to shape minds into leaders and innovators for tomorrow. I talked to him. We spent some time with him. I talked to him about kind of the different things he's doing. If you think about, I don't know, when you get a chance, check out his website. He has a really holistic view of how to engage with young people in STEM. So going from books to podcasts to, he actually has built kind of a Lego-like playset, right? Where they build a robot, which is incredible, right? And it's actually hydro powered. So, you can make the robot move. So it was really impressive. And I had a lot of heart for, the things that he was trying to do. Especially part of my background is coming from, a STEM background. And I felt like, and we felt like, look, this guy is really going to make a difference in the community. So anyway, we were super excited about being able to award him the grant. He's, he has lots of big plans. He's actually part of what he's planning to do with the grant is, he has more books he wants to produce as well. He has some other stuff that he wants to do, but create some additional staff to be able to get his story out. So look, and we give this grant, no obligation to Bevel. Like, this is all about, continue to fuel entrepreneurship and making sure these businesses can continue to grow.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that. Shout out to you and shout out to STEM Plug. I actually went to the booth. Yeah, so that's pretty impressive. You said 120 applicants were part of this project. How difficult was it to come down to this choice?
It was tough. We had to, obviously we go from 120 to we narrowed down to like 4 or 5. And, just talking to the founders of these companies was really, really difficult. It's almost like, hey, I want to figure out how we can help all of them, which we made some, connections where we can continue to work together. It may not be a grant, but maybe we work together for some other facet. But it was really difficult. There's a lot of folks out there doing some amazing stuff. Again, even if you step back from the 120, just walking through the vendor marketplace, I got a lot of energy from that. And there's a lot of walking too. So I had to get a lot of energy, a lot of steps. But I just got a lot of energy from talking to people. They have passion about their businesses and they're trying to make a difference. And I think, right now in this current environment, like we're going to need more entrepreneurs and to continue to build and grow.
From your perspective, walking through and seeing all the businesses and all the vendors, like what are like 3 things that made STEM Plug stand out the most for you that made you say, I have to allocate this money here to help this company?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. One, he had a very clear vision of what he wanted to achieve, right? So, and it was very well thought through, I think, number one. The second is he actually, if you looked at again, check out STEM Plug online, right? I think it's stemplug.com. He has a very holistic program, right? And how he's connecting with people. So again, you talk about, you have the book, you have the educational series, you have the actual the devices or the robots that you can build. And he's thought about it holistically for how to take these kids on a journey where they can build up their confidence to be to believe. And the third, I mean, he really had he was clear on what were the next things, right? So, you know, it wasn't like, hey, this was a point in time thing and I don't know when I'm going next. He actually was very clear on what was the future, like what's the next 12 months, 18 months, 24-month roadmap for what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So for you as somebody that's a CEO, people that don't know Bevel, right? So Bevel's a grooming company, a male grooming company, got popularized by the wireless blade as far as shaving blade.
Life changing.
And then it started by a gentleman named Tristan Walker.
Mhm.
And then celebrities got on involved, most notably Nas. When he had the rap song, he was saying that my signature fade with the bevel blade. And shortly after that, Tristan sold the company, right? To Procter & Gamble, right?
Yep.
Sold it to Procter & Gamble. Then you come on as the CEO of the company, running the company now. So I just wanted to give the timeline for people that might not be familiar. Okay. Now you're the CEO of a company. What challenges are you facing right now just in the landscape? We know that there's political challenges, there's artificial intelligence, and technology has changed drastically in the last couple of years. There's a work shortage as far as, a lot of people are out of work. What are some of the challenges that you're facing as far as running a company?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned all of them, right? But here's what I say. I mean, really, we're focused on figuring out how do we make sure that we are able to, number one, deliver the best grooming products for our consumers. Number two, make sure that our consumers actually know about the products, right? So, I mean, one of the bigger challenges that we have is making sure that we're in the right places at the right time, whether or not that's in media, because media is super fragmented now. I mean, think about it. Like before, you used to be able to go turn on the TV and a bunch of commercials ran and everybody knew about your product. That ain't happening now, right? So now it's, you got TikTok, you got Meta, you got OTT, where sometimes streaming shows. So how do you make sure that you can get your message out and an authentic message out in the right way to the consumers that should consider your product? That's really. And then the second part is the third part is the changing of the retail landscape, right? Again, you used to be able to go and make a product and put it on shelf at Walmart, and people walk past that aisle, and that's what they bought. No, now it's like Amazon, TikTok Shop. Every retailer has some sort of marketplace and thing that they have going on, right? So just making sure that, Club right now is huge, right? So making sure that we're in the right places to be considered. All the external factors are there, right? But they'll always be there, and there'll be external factors like 5 years from now that are related to businesses. But really making sure that we hone in on the consumer and giving them what they want and being where they are and telling them our story so that they know that we have the best product on the market for them.
Yeah, you have an incredible product. We've been supporting it since its inception. You guys sent over some new products. I'm like, this is crazy. So shout out to y'all. And again, it speaks about showing up in the right places and understanding the market. I wonder, as you look at the landscape now for men's grooming, where are we headed? Like, is there new technology that you see that is out there that is like, wait, this is something we need to capitalize on, or are you guys creating the new product of the future?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So now, as you would imagine, right, I'm super tuned in and honed in on the different trends that are happening, right? And one of the things that's coming through, at least from my lens, is male grooming is actually becoming popular, right? And it's becoming more mainstream. So if you get on TikTok, right, you'll see like a bunch of ads for body butters, which for men, right? Which scented, which is not stuff. Look, 2 years ago that wasn't happening, right? That wasn't the thing, right? I think number one, you think about shaving, but not just shaving on your beard and your face, but also bald. Both of y'all brothers are bald, right? So you know what I'm saying? That's another one where male grooming is becoming more elevated. So what we're trying to do is tap into, okay, how do I'm
not low Caesar.
I have a Caesar, low Caesar.
Oh, okay.
I got you.
Just for clarification.
I got zoom in on.
Just for clarification purposes.
Yeah, we got to scroll. Use the figure.
Bevel Pro for a shot.
The one blade.
But so we're trying to. So really, our promise is about elevated grooming. So now it's like, okay, we're going to be part of setting the trends, right? So there will be a bunch of new things that we're coming out with that we obviously can't share right now, but that is going to continue to elevate grooming for men. And be in the spaces where we need to continue to, I mean, look, you can get razor bumps on your head, right? We can't, and that, by the way, that's awful, right? So, we have the technology where we've started, been able to eliminate razor bumps. How do we bring that to the broader category?
Can you talk to us about the path of entrepreneurship? I think a lot of times in our community, it's either working corporate or entrepreneurship, and there seems to be this great battle. I think you've hit a sweet spot of being a CEO of an amazing company inside of a larger ecosystem. For those who aspire to do the same, like, what's your path to getting to where you are now? And talk to us about the importance of entrepreneurship as well.
Yeah, you know what, so what I would suggest, a couple of things, right? And I just talk about my personal path, right? Number one, you got to be willing to take risks and try things that make you super uncomfortable, right? I mean, entrepreneurship is something that is like, it is you going into unknowns. You're learning a bunch of new stuff. I mean, when I took over this business, there was a bunch of things that I had to learn on the fly. Like, let's go. And I think you have to be open to that and kind of embrace that idea that, you know what, you're not going to have all the answers. You're not going to know how to do some of the stuff that you'll figure it out, right? Everybody learns. Like, the thing, I think Barack Obama said this. I'm not going to get the quote quite right? But, one of the things that I realized as I either A, was working in this larger company, or B, took over this role, like, when you walk into some of these rooms and you think these people are incredibly smart and like gifted, and then you interact with them, you realize, you know what, I think I could do that. Like, I could actually do some of this stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that people are not smart and gifted, but it's not as like out of reach.
It's not three deviations above
where you are. Yeah. It's not at all, right? And so my advice to people is like, hey, try stuff and learn. And you know what? Like, if it doesn't work, guess what? You learn from that and go to the next thing and figure out how to apply that learning to the next thing that you do.
As far as the education process for our audience, our demographic, right? Like I said, Tristan sold his company to Procter & Gamble. Now you're running the company as a CEO. It's under the umbrella of Procter & Gamble. Okay. Educate the audience on how selling a company is not selling out.
Yeah. That's a great point. So here's what I would say, right? Just start with, right? Most entrepreneurs, like, I can't speak for all of them, but either, ones I talk to, as I talk to Tristan or whatever, their mission, like, they build their business around a mission. And that mission is not just like, I got to keep this thing for myself. The mission is about, how do I make sure this thing that I'm creating, in the case of Bevel, it was million grooming products for color. How do I make that available for everybody who needs that, right? And in order to do that, you need to have partnerships, right? I mean, listen, you can start things on your own, you can build things on your own, but it requires connectivity. It requires your ability to be able to reach out and connect with people. Okay, so if I start with that, if you start with that as the basis of, okay, this is the thing I want to achieve, then you figure out the best way to achieve it. And sometimes the best way to achieve that is to partner with another company, right? To make your products more accessible, to get more marketing dollars, to get more distribution, to go into more stores, right? To make it global. And that's all about delivering the vision of the thing that you're trying to do, right? And it's not, look, and you have to, entrepreneurs, like, they all have their own whys and why they do things, including why they may, partner with a company for acquisition, or why they might stay on their own. I think the key point, though, is it's not about trying to be protective. It's more about how do you deliver the thing that you're trying to deliver based on the vision that you have. So I think that's the way we should think about it. Like, look, I still stay connected with Tristan, and look, I mean, I don't think he has any regrets. I mean, I think he feels, very comfortable with how we're taking the company. And I think from that perspective, this is, again, about how do we have Bevel reaches what his overall goal is, which is, again, to continue to develop solutions for grooming for men of color.
We appreciate you being here again. Appreciate you walking the vendor marketplace, because you got to encounter some real authentic entrepreneurship. As a CEO of a company, I wonder, as you encounter some of these early stages businesses, what are one or two pieces of advice that you would give them, being in the seat that you sit in and watching them at the beginning of, for a lot of them, of their journey?
Yeah, a few things, right? And it actually comes back to part of why we picked StemPlug. But I would say, one, I think being very clear about what is the thing that you're trying to solve. Like, what's the what, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is that, the thing that you want to make a difference on, right? Whether or not it's, the StemPlug one was very clear. I think the clearer you can be on that, the better. You might not have it all the way figured out, right? But I think if you can articulate it, right, that'll help get people bought into the thing that you're trying to do. So that's one thing. I think the second is, again, you may not have all the answers from the beginning, but I think having some vision on where you want to take it, right? So you start somewhere, and then what's the thing, like what's the end state you want to get to, or at least what's the lighthouse you're pointing to, is important. Because again, that helps people connect to, all right, now I understand where you're trying to go. I understand where you are, right? Because you got to start somewhere, but I understand where you're trying to go. And then you can start laying out steps for how to get there, right? So there's you can say, all right, for this quarter, I'm going to work on this thing. On this quarter, I want to work on this thing. And by the way, for this part of the journey, I need this kind of resource or these kind of relationships. And then that as you pull people into your orbit, they can help you get there. So those will be the two things I would say. And then everything else is just like, muscle and grit and willpower and blood, sweat, and tears, right?
Yeah. If a entrepreneur wanted to pitch an idea to you for Bevel to add a product to their product lineup, like what would you want to see in a pitch or proposal that would make you say, I really like this entrepreneur, I like the product, I like the presentation? Because what I'm trying to do is trying to close the gap from entrepreneurship to see how they can be integrated into a bigger ecosystem. Like, what pitches have you seen that have just caught your attention where you had to look at that idea?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. One is, how is it tied to a consumer? I'm gonna call it consumer, but a user or a consumer need. Like, what is the thing it's solving, right? And again, if I come back to like how this company was founded, there was a very, very specific problem that Tristan was solving, right? And so for us, like as we look at new products or we look at new systems or whatever, what is the problem uniquely that we're solving? And is there technology around it? And so I would say that's number one. The first thing is like, what is the consumer insight behind the thing? The second is, I think there has to be some level of, I'm gonna call it diligence research on what is already out there, right? Mm-hmm. So, because I do think a lot of times people have ideas, which is awesome. You have ideas, and then there's like 400 products already out there that do the same thing. Like, so how's your thing going to be different, right? And it doesn't have to be like super different, but I think you have to be thoughtful about how's it going to be different. So, because you have to figure out how's it going to stand out. And for, in this very crowded marketplace of now you could buy anything anywhere, right? I mean, your store is the phone, right? I mean, literally. So how are you going to stand out? How's the thing that you're creating going to stand out? Or how can we make it stand out? So maybe it's integrated as part of a total system, right? Or a shave system or whatever. But I think that's the other thing I would advise they consider.
When you coming out with a Bevel AI barber?
I don't know if you want AI cut your hair, man. I feel like we ain't quite ready for that. Like,
okay,
we might need like two more years.
Got you.
I'll be the test, man. You know what I mean?
So where do you think this is going as far as men's grooming? Because we talk about Ulta Beauty and of course, publicly traded side as far as women cosmetic companies have been huge and continue to grow. We see billionaires made in the space from Kylie Jenner to Rihanna. So you talked about like now it's becoming more popular as far as men's grooming. How far do you think it can actually go as far as like valuations and companies and distribution?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because again, like I would argue, even when I took on this role like 2.5 years ago, whenever it was, right, men's grooming was still like blooming as something that, you know, like was getting interesting. I would say now it's crazy. Like, so if you go into Ulta, I don't know if y'all go into Ulta. I go into Ulta because Bevel's in Ulta and I need to go look at these shelves, right? Ulta has a whole men's section. Now they don't do a good job branding it, so we got to work on that. But they have a whole men's section, right? And that is like happening everywhere, right? So that's happening. I mean, if you go into Target, right? Target has this thing called Men's World, right?
Can't go.
I'm suggesting if you happen to go before,
just trying to
Jamal Bryant before
everybody safe, man.
Jamal Bryant.
That's right. Word is in there. But my broader point though is this. Men's grooming in general is becoming more elevated. You're seeing more brands being created, right? You're seeing, and again, not around function. So I think the big shift is this is less about function and more about almost like how do you pamper, right? I mean, again, like I pick on like being on TikTok and now kind of getting served these kind of ads. Like most of the ads now are a lot about like, hey man, you ashy, you need to put lotion on. It's more like, hey, how can you smell like a king, or how can you, how can you elevate your grooming? Like you need to look, and I think that's where it's headed. And I think what we're going to find is more and more, because most men's grooming now is focused on function, right?
Like what? Like when you say function, like haircuts,
just
shaving.
You're like, hey, I'm gonna shave, just get the hair off of me, right? It's not like, hey, elevated, like spa-like experience. It ain't about scents, right? Again, most men's, ours is not that way, but you're seeing more and more brands that are more like acting more spa-like, again, for men, like specifically for men. So I think you're going to see more and more of that. I think there's also going to be more celebrities that get in on it, right? And you're already starting to see that. Like, I mean, not to be shouting out, competition, right? But like, you have LeBron with the shop and all that stuff. And again, honestly, personally, I think like the more like we should be building the category out, right? So there's enough space for everybody. There's enough men out here who need grooming products for us all to win, right? So but I think that's what we're going to see, a continual elevation of men's grooming. And I think to your point, like, and I think it's going to become like companies are going to entrepreneurs are going to find like lanes where there's going to become like big businesses, like to your point, like Rihanna or like, what I'm saying, Kylie Jenner or whatever, like, because that's, men are spending more and more on grooming products, right? And that's what our research is telling us.
Yeah, is that like one of those metrics or one of those points that of emphasis looking forward to the future, is maybe having an influencer or celebrity behind the brand? When you said it, made me think of what Fat Joe and kind of Khaled have done for Rewind the Time and Rewind 10. Is that something that you guys actually wrestled with and thought about and just haven't implemented, or something you're looking to do in the future? Because I know a couple of guys that actually use the product that,
buy it,
buy it, face friendly guys who shave and, are into men's grooming.
Yeah. For sure. We had, over the last year, Kyle Pitts was one of our influencers / ambassadors for the brand, right? He had a good game last night, by the way. But we try to balance it. Like, so part of our, like, we want to be super authentic and ingrained in the culture, right? So if you look at what we do, if you go on our handle, our social handle, get, on Instagram, what you'll see is a lot of connectedness with the culture. Like, we're on an HBCU tour right now. So if you like look at the stories, you'll see a bunch of college kids, like, engaging with the brand. We have, we're connected with Atlanta, a lot of Atlanta activities. So we sponsor scholarships at the Atlanta Barber Institute. We're partnering with this semi-pro league in Atlanta. And we also try to highlight and elevate actually the less famous people, right, who are doing things. So, we have this series called Faces of Atlanta, where we're elevating people who are doing big things in Atlanta, kind of showcasing their stories, whether or not it's in sports or it's in arts or it's in business. So we've kind of wrestled with it a little bit, but we try to be a little bit more like in the culture and like connected with the people, so that we can tell their stories and we can that's kind of our roots, right?
How do you innovate quicker than your competition ends up copying? Like I've been buying the blade for a while. Then all of a sudden I see everyone in the category making their spin-off version. But being in a big ecosystem like Procter, how do you say, hey, we need to innovate faster so we don't lose market share? Can you talk to us about how you wrestle with that while being in a bigger ecosystem?
Yeah, we so again, we try to start with identifying consumer insights based on our target consumer, right? So target consumer being, men of color, Black men, right? So we try to, like, over the course of, sometime we try to identify, all right, what are we learning about how they're using our products, how they're using other products, what are the actual needs, unsaid needs and met needs. And we try to feed that into, like, all right, so how can we bring technology to bear on some of that, whether or not that's technology that, the partner company has, P&G, whether or not that's technology we go out and get ourselves, right? Because quite honestly, like, sometimes, I mean, we're kind of in a different space where some things that we might need not necessarily come from the parent company. So and then we try to identify it quickly, and then we move like a small company. So I mean, we identify it, and then get to the insight, test it. I mean, we have consumers that are part of our direct consumer site. We can quickly find ones that we believe have the right attributes for testing this thing. We test it, and then we go to production, and so we can launch it, right? So, I mean, I'll give you an example of that. Like, we recently, actually in Ulta now, launched our electric shaver, right? Which again is tied to an insight around shaving and ease of shave, right? And it complements our overall shave kit, our shave care regimen, right? And we have products to go around that. So, for our total shave system, we have a regimen of products. For the electric shaver, we actually also have a set of regimented products to do on the, pre-shave gel, and then aftershave bump control. But again, it came from an insight, and then we tried to move really quickly on it.
Well, what's the timeline for that?
That's in market. Go to ulta.com, ultabeauty.com, or go in the store in the men's section. But yeah, the big thing. I mean, we have a really strong partnership with Ulta. They have both devices. They have the trimmer and the electric shaver. They have most of our SKUs. So, and they're really looking to grow their men's grooming section.
Oh, Damon, man, thank you for coming. Always. Thank you for, like I said, the InvestFest $25,000 grant. Any last words?
No, listen, I appreciate you guys having me on. Like I said, congratulations again on a super dope InvestFest. Like I said, I was overwhelmed. I was like, I was like, this was incredible. I made a lot of connections. I'm looking forward to stay connected. Actually, I'll tell you. So I was in line to go. I don't remember where I was going into, but I was talking to some brothers, and they were like, listen, I tell my boss this weekend is blocked every year. Like, they are committed to coming to InvestFest, which is, I mean, I think that's a testament to the programming you guys have put on and what what you've created. So, congratulations on that. And I appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate you, man.
We need 3 ambassador contracts too.
That's what I'm saying. We got something
going
on in Atlanta.
We got you. We got you.
It makes too much sense, man.
I agree. We own it.
Hard ask 3. DocuSign. Got you.
There it is.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
All right. I'll be good.
All right. See, it's now, man. The Market Mondays aftershave. You feel me?
Man, that Bevel Pro.
Sick. It's sick. Yeah. And I mean, if you've been with the product, you can see like the amount of time that they've taken on to make sure that the efficiency is better. I remember when the first one, I was like, damn, this could just stay charged a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And now that the charge is even better than the first 2. So they've gotten better with each one, man. That's one of those things that you put in the travel kit.
Mandatory.
Yeah.
Mandatory. Yeah, when it's at the gift box, I'm like, I bought most of this already. Like, man, the travel light blade shaver. Whoo. Life saver.
You get into like Europe and you try to plug your clippers in.
Doesn't go.
You're dead. But you keep your electric one on. You good, man.
Yeah. And talk about scale. Like, I think the total addressable market for men's grooming is like 80 billion. Just huge market share, yo.
Yeah, men are taking care of they grooming. It's important. I mean, they always have. I feel like he's right. Like you're starting to see more facial creams. You're starting to see more men's products, lotions, like you said. At least the butter, like it's becoming a thing. Becoming a thing.
That's a fact. Shout out to
Like, I think they
Bill.
caught you in Ulta Beauty the other day, right, Ian?
Did they? Instacart. not me. I don't be going to
you. Shout out to Ulta Beauty.
You see that 50 look without his mustache.
Yo, he did a transformation, huh?
For sure.
Yo, that's dedication. I like the content he's put. Like, yo, this is what sacrifice and dedication looks like.
How much would that charge you cut your beard and mustache off? What's the rate?
Yo, my son asked me that. He said, "Dad, you gonna cut your beard one day?" I'm like, it's part of the brand, bro. It's part of the brand. It's all they've ever known.
That wire had to be crazy.
I'm not sure I grew up with Street Fighter. I don't remember his character though. Like I remember M. Bison, but I don't remember he might be like, that's like part 4 or something.
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4, something like that. Shout out to 50 though.
Yeah, you know, that's a great gig.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Shout out to 50. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Been real.
It has been, man.
Tim Cook, we'd love to have you on the show.
Please. Open door. No pun intended.
Mm-hmm. Keith Raboy. Ooh.
Wow.
The tech bros are.
I don't want to be a Ponzi. I don't want to be a meme stock. Okay. Have it your way. Have it your way. Yeah, it's been real, man. It's been real. Big week. It's a big week. Like I said, if you're in those September 19th contracts, make sure that you're taking your percentages. Make sure that you put some reserves away. Obviously, we talked about September not being the norm, but there's always October. We have seen some October pullbacks, so just be mindful of that. Start of the fourth quarter is near. And
my prevailing law is that the market is permanently rigged to stay up. Stop trying to short the market,
please.
At all times,
please.
At all times, ladies and gentlemen.
Y'all be good to each other.
10 o'clock Wednesday. We got the Square episode coming out Thursday.
Yep.
At 6 o'clock. NIL conference Sunday at 2 o'clock. So it's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Tap in.
Yeah.
Stock call tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central. Link is in Kajabi. See y'all there.
Oh, we got class this week too. Shout out to everybody that pulled up to Austin's class. This week we got Stormy. So shout out to everybody that tuned into to Stormy's episode. The grant writer, she's going to be doing EYLU.
On the fire.
Yeah. Shout out to her.
Is that EYLU or is that InvestFest?
InvestFest. I'm sorry, InvestFest VIP. You're right. InvestFest VIP. Shout out to everybody. I actually got to call her. She dropped so much game. I was like, I gotta have a meeting. Yeah, she's cold. She's cold.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sure y'all tap in. Yo, congrats, Chris, my son. Yeah, his first football game they won 24-0 yesterday. Yeah, he looking like Micah Parsons out there.
Yeah, I saw the highlights. Said, my boy, go easy. You gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah, that's what I told him, man. Like the 100 is the speed, but like you don't gotta stay at 100. Like
yeah. Xander won a tournament yesterday, 14-8. My baby.
Congrats, man. Congrats.
Yeah.
How you looking out there?
Good, man. Hit 3 threes back to back. I said, boys, proud of you.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I think we was watching CS highlights. I told Shai, I'm like, yo, I never hit a 3-pointer in my life in a game. Like in a game. He was like, what? I'm like, nah, bro.
Shout out to the voice. What?
Yeah. I tell you, I was a smart player. Like if there's guys who are better at scoring, why would I give them the ball?
Kingmaker.
Yo, he can score better than me. He can score better. Bro, let me go do something else. Let me go rebound. Let me go play some defense. Like whatever it take to win.
One of the few players that actually took charges in high school.
Fact.
Team player,
yo. Whatever. Yo, we need the possession. Like, yo, let me go lock up.
Yeah, whatever it take.
Whatever it takes. That was Shane Battier. He was like the player of the year in high school at the time. So I was like, I'm watching him
in high school, yo.
That's what he was doing. So I was like, yo, we got to do that.
Was tough in high school.
School record. I got the school record for charges.
Shout out to Coach Van Dava. DVD, yeah, charges is crazy. In high school, that's crazy.
New category.
We wasn't taking no charges in high school.
Nah.
But, you know, it's needed.
Yo, somebody got to do it.
Somebody got to do it.
Somebody has to do it.
Somebody
The dirty
gotta do
work.
it.
The dirty work.
It's a fact.
All right, guys, it's been real. I'll tap in with you.
Love is love, man.